This is weird, okay? This is weird, and this is part of why it's creepy. What is going on in the mind of this author? And that's my biggest objection to the drama. Apart from all that, this drama was worth it. This is a step-by-step, I guess. I didn't need to have a step-by-step to watch this drama. Okay, the drama, The Immortal Ascension. I'm paused at 17 minutes and 3 seconds into episode 6. And I already have a growing list of comments that I want to make before I forget what they are. But even after saying that, I'm already forgetting what they are. So, here we go. I made a list to remind myself. These are the things, my thoughts on The Immortal Ascension so far. For one thing, so far, I am enjoying it because it has a very different feeling than normal. This is the first drama I've ever watched where the cultivators feel like martial artists. They don't feel like cultivators. Except the ones that are like high up there. But like all these rogue ones and the ones that are down on the beginning levels and whatnot, they don't feel like cultivators. This feels like a martial arts drama, not a cultivation drama. That is weird. Way too often in these dramas, the master has to be respected regardless of what he does to his disciples. He can be an atrocious person because they have to be filial. They are literally not allowed to fight back against their master, no matter how evil their master is. And yet in this one, he fought back against his master, and he went as far as he did against his master. So it's very, very different feeling right off the bat in this drama. But at the same time, it's like right at the end, Physician Mo, the drama is telling me that he's a good person. Hanli is looking back fondly at all these good memories he had with him of all these wonderful times and whatnot. And I'm like, I can't agree with you. Why can I not agree with you? Because they made a very potent point of telling me the entire reason, everything that Physician Mo is doing, the entire reason why he is helping Han Li, the only reason why he is helping Han Li is because he wants Han Li's body. Does not care about Han Li. I don't care what fond memories they had. It would be very hard and confusing for Han Li, yes, but that's not what they were portraying to me. They weren't portraying to me that Han Li is now confused and messed up because he has all these fond memories, and yet it turns out all those fond memories were a lie. But they're telling me they weren't a lie. They're telling me that it's only somewhere near the end when he got desperate and couldn't help it because he's gonna die. So, it's not his fault that he has to kill Han Li. No, guys, that was his goal all along. Maybe way back then, maybe he did some good things or whatever, but really evil, bad people can do some good things. It is how it works sometimes. Physician Mo is not a good person, and yet the drama is trying to tell me that he was actually a good person, he just got a little bit twisted, that's all. And this goes right along with the quote in episode 5 or 6, I forget where. But the guy goes, he's mischievous, but he bears no ill intentions. If he did offend you, I apologize on his behalf. Is it actually raining? Hold on 1 second, I have to check on windows. Okay, yes, that's very distracting there. It's a storm blowing in, and yes, it did start raining, so I had to close the windows and whatnot. Anyway, that's not what I was supposed to be talking about. There are so many things wrong with that statement. Like, practically every single part of that is wrong. He is mischievous. Okay, the crap. He's literally a thief. He's stealing people's bags. That's not just mischievous. He bears no ill intentions. He literally stole the guy's bag. How on earth do you not bear any ill intentions when you're literally stealing from people? Borrowed with every intention of returning. He did not intend to return that. He never would have returned that if he hadn't gotten caught. If he did offend you, yeah. If he literally stole from me, yeah, he kind of offended me. I apologize on his behalf. Doesn't work like that. You want to know why he keeps stealing from people? Because you keep doing this. It doesn't work like this. It literally doesn't work like this. So there's four parts to that statement, and every single part of them is completely stupid and wrong, and this is a fundamental foundation of how they believe things, because they are constantly doing this in their dramas. I have such an issue with it. And then, once again, they're always telling me that it is so hard to be a cultivator or a martial artist and build up all this chi because it takes so much time, and yet become across a child who is level 10. She's a child, and she's already up there. What has she been doing? Cultivating since she was 2? Maybe since babyhood? So anyway, those are my thoughts so far on the Immortal Ascension. On one hand, I think it's maybe just that I'm too distracted. I've got a lot of other things that I'm very interested in, other dramas that I recently found that I'm super interested in watching and whatnot, so it kind of feels like, in a way, this is dragging just a little bit and it's hard to focus on. But at the other hand, there's something different about it right now that I'm still interested in it. Wait, before I forget, I just remembered. That's another thing that I wanted to comment already. Those ages do not even remotely add up. Physician Mo was supposed to be 37 at the end of that. How old are his daughters supposed to be? I also cheated and checked the ending to see whether it has a satisfactory ending or not, a good ending or not, and I think it does. But the problem is, even when I think I'm prepared because I did check endings, I'm often wrong because I've said it before. Your goal, your ending goal is very, very, very important, but how you get there is also very, very, very important. And quite regularly I check the ending and it's like, okay, the goal, the ending, seems to be a good ending, and yet once I find out how they get there, I'm like, okay, this is disgusting, I hate this. So, we'll see. And I keep finding more random things to add, by the way. Yeah, now this is twice. See, I'm a big believer that what you believe, your morals and your ethics, but especially your morals, because your morals drive your ethics. But anyway, that is what is driving your motives, which is driving your actions. Your motives are driving your actions. What you believe, your morals, all the such of that, is what is driving your actions. Now this is twice. We're in the middle of a test. One girl tries to kill somebody because he dared to steal something from her. They were competing for it. He had every right to try to take it from you. Anyway, she tried to kill him, and the head grandmaster is like, stop, this is just a test, and you don't try to kill him. And then when it's like, okay, which sect are you going to join? She adds her token to I want her. Why would you want someone like that? Clearly, she has a horrible temper and has horrible attitude of, why would you want her? And now here's test number 2, where the guys are competing, and she has to stop him from killing somebody. You can't do that. It's just a test. Don't get... Why would anybody want these people? Why would you want someone like that in your clan? I wouldn't. And yet they do this all the time. Why is it that they think these actions that they do... Yeah, why do I bother asking why? Let's go back to the, he's just mischievous, he meant no ill will. If he did offend you, let me apologize for him. See? 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 This doesn't make any sense. Episode 6, 38 minutes and 32 seconds. You really are a complete villain. He says to this guy who's willing to sacrifice somebody that he goes way back with because Ascension is more important to him. And yet Physician Mo was still somehow a good guy, despite everything he did being with the goal to kill Han Li. Episode 7, 22 minutes and 1 second. That is the funniest fast walk I've ever seen. That is the most well done. Like, if you couldn't see below his waist, you wouldn't know he's moving. You'd think he's just, like, floating along. That is the best done fast walk I've ever seen. That is way too funny. And by the way, to say you've done nothing wrong and yet you stick out like a sore thumb because you possess something that doesn't belong to you, basically what he said. He's talking about the pill, which is false. If the token really belongs to him, that's more the problem. He is, like, this is the biggest cheat he's done so far, especially to full-blown lie about where he got it. Because yes, he has it, but we all saw him get it. We know how he got it. Yet he lied about how he got it. So, I've got so many teeny tiny little clip videos now because I keep pausing it to say something because I'm in a chatty mood and because I'm by myself right now, so I can. So I keep chatting to you in tiny clips of stuff while watching it instead of writing it down in my book, because writing down takes longer. This is a step-by-step, I guess. I didn't mean to have a step-by-step to watch this drama. I can't keep doing this, and I won't. But you know. Anyway, while I can. So much to say. Yesterday I was so hot I had to wear a no-sleeve shirt. Today I am cold. Like I'm shivering without the sweater on. Welcome to where I live. End of episode 9. How did scum like him end up in this clan? I told you. I told you how. I called that out ages ago. Like, literally, all these guys care about is power, and then they wonder why they always have so many troubles within their clans and sects and whatever, and can't, like, they're always infighting and always falling apart from the inside out, etc., etc., etc. People are so stupid that you can't figure this out. I have to say, I've been sitting on it for a long time already. This location, I mean, this is the most anti-structural clan I have ever seen. It is the most misplaced items, randomly strewn anywhere and everywhere I have ever seen. I mean, the garden is bad enough. It's literally just like wherever. And then he goes to the library and it's like the books everywhere, skewered, randomly strewn on rocks. The end of episode, rather, beginning of episode 10. Like I said, this is a cultivation drama, and yet it feels way more like a martial arts drama, because what the main character keeps on doing in his willingness to kill people if they deserve to die, etc., that's not the cultivation world. That's the martial arts world. And then on top of that, just because he just said something about only those who are willing to help you are your friends. Yeah, except that real friends don't help people in order to get favors. And obviously I don't mean that in a way where, you know, you always give and you never get. Friends, mutually friends. If you are a real friend to someone, you're giving without expecting anything in return. And if they are a real friend to you, they are also giving without expecting anything in return. So you're both giving to each other mutually in a, I want to give more than I take because I am your friend. That's how that actually works. Finished episode 10, and again, like, seriously, this drama does not, in the remote even slightly, feel like a cultivator drama, except randomly here and there every now and then, with certain people doing certain things. But also, someone please explain to me, because the drama didn't. Why, if going into this place to collect herbs is that important, because they need the herbs that much, that even the masters want it that much, why don't the masters go in there? Why are they sending cannon fodder low-level ones in there? I know that disciples need trials, everybody needs trials and stuff that stretches their abilities in order to grow and get stronger and whatnot, but isn't this a little overboard? I don't understand, and the drama didn't explain. This happens frequently in dramas, where they're like cannon foddering all of their disciples. Isn't this very, very, very counterproductive? Okay, something important I want to mention before I forget again. Like I keep saying with the difference in the feeling of this drama and all the rest of that kind of stuff. Something very important that I have actually noticed and have been taking note of and etc. more than once. I said that he cheated, the main character, Hanley. I said that he cheated. Mainly and mostly, the only cheat he really did is with that green vial and what he can do with that. Because I'm like, that's kind of cheating. Being able to age the plants that fast. And I'm like, it also feels kind of fake. Because there again, talk about like, I mean, if that were real people, I'd say they were cheating. How do you compare? Like, how does it even work? A brand new little seedling and all of a sudden it's 100 years old or 500 years old? How do you call that real? How can you legitimately say that they're that old when it happened in just a few seconds? My brain and logicalities of, okay, whatever. But basically, that's the only thing he's really doing is cheating. Like, so far, by the way, now I forget what episode. 15. I am done 15 episodes. So far, hold that thought. Why do I always do that? My goodness, it is such a seriously, seriously bad habit of mine. I was not finished my thought. Don't move on yet. The point, a very, very important point that I was trying to make about him cheating versus not cheating.
You see, this is why I always say the spotlighting and how they're cheating. This is what I was complaining about in Pursuit of Jade with the girl. This is one of the things. Cheating versus not cheating. When they cheat all the time, it ends up being spotlighting, and they're able to do it only because they're the main character. And they don't really... This is not earned. This is not whatever, and it makes me end up disliking them, and it makes me end up dropping the drama, etc. This is something that this one is doing that is really good. That's why I moved on to how many main characters there are, because even saying that the girl and the other guy, the picture, that you'll see more of later, Yang's character, he's the one that is the main character, okay? He is the main character. Everybody else is like, okay, there is a story in there somewhere, but like, almost everything else that is happening is a side story. It's called the Immortal Ascension. It is all about Yang's character, Han Li. It is all about Han Li. So, like, everywhere we go and everything we do, occasionally it's flipped away to somebody else, but the vast majority of it is Han Li. All of the other people that are just randomly walking by, we're currently with Han Li, and somebody else just happens to walk on screen, etc. Like, it's very, very, very focused on Han Li. To the point where, usually, if I was watching this drama, I mean, any drama that's like this, usually I'd end up feeling like we're spotlighting so much that I'm kind of getting tired of this character because, like, the crap, what is going on here? But what I appreciate so much about this one and what is different about this one is that, well, in a sense, it kind of sort of feels like he's cheating. He's actually not, because he did make the point of saying that it's not just your cultivation and whatnot, of which we are seeing him do a lot of. But on top of that, it's also your mastery of artifacts and how you use the artifacts and etc. And do you know how many artifacts have you been keeping count by episode 15? How many artifacts he's picked up? And how many of them he's learned how to use and all this stuff? Okay, the speed with which he learns how to use them is a tad odd. When it comes to the swords and stuff and a shield, okay, that's one thing, but then that really cool, I mean, I love it when he uses that big blade with the 8 little ones. I love that concept, the way they show how that thing functions and how it works and stuff. That looks so cool. And then the other really cool one was when he picked up the silver threads. That was also really cool, but that one's a little bit like, all of a sudden you just know how to use this thing. How do you know how to use that? You've never used anything like this before. Okay, so the speed of which he's learning to use the artifacts is a tad much, but at the same time, that's the thing. It's not a tedious drama. We're tediously, very slowly watching someone plod along, trying to figure out how to make it and all of that stuff. But it's also not one where we're just jumping and skipping and they're just automatically knowing how to do this stuff without any practice, any real skill or knowledge going on here. It's a good pace of him figuring out how, and they call it him scheming and him all of this stuff, and that's how he's surviving, and it's true. He's very smart and scheming and cunning, and it's a good pace of seeing him learn how to do this, and we've seen him learn without it being incredibly tedious. So it's weird. It's a very strange balance, and I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what it is about this one that is making it different from the typical type of drama. But there you go. That's me finishing the thought that I was trying to finish. Now let's go on to see the picture of the main characters a million times, because the rest of the clip that I previously filmed. I don't know why. I think my drama list has 5 people listed as main characters. I have no idea why, because Qiao and what's her name? Say something. The picture's right there. Those characters, those are not main characters. I don't know what you're talking about. I've barely seen them. I mean, that one girl must come back at some point, because she was in 3 episodes maximum so far? That's not a main character. That's not even hardly a support character so far. She's a guest. And the other girl, she randomly pops in every now and then, but she's not even a strong support character. She's barely around. And you know what? By the way, this is getting really annoying. There's 3 of them that I'm like, they look so much alike, and they're all dressed so alike, and their hair is all the same. Everything about them is so similar. There's nothing about them that's standing out. Therefore, there's the 3 of them. The one girl, I wasn't mixing her up, but at the one point I'm like, is that her or not? And where is she? And what is she doing? I am getting so confused by which one's which. At one point, I legit thought there was one character that just died. And I'm like, how did she just die? Turns out it wasn't her, it was somebody else. Why do they all look so similar? I can't tell them apart. And then, what was the other thing? There was something else that I was gonna, talk about the scattered, anti-structure. It's not just their group that's like that. Everybody's group is so anti-structure. There's, hardly any buildings ever since they left the mortal realm. This is the first immortal cultivation, whatever, drama. This is legit the first one that I've seen. In other ones, there are certain sects or clans. Some of them are this sparse with furniture, and they literally just always sit around on rocks. And, I don't know how they're comfortable. How on earth do you get a good night's sleep when you're literally laying on a rock? I don't get it. Tell me your secrets, please. Because I have so many issues sleeping. Tell me your secrets so I can just lay on the floor. How do you do that? Anyway, everybody in this one, not just one or two of them, but, everybody, all of the cultivator clans, they're so anti-structure. Anyway, so one, of course, literally right after I finally film a video saying, how can you possibly call her a main character? She's a guest appearance at best. And I'm like, well, I knew she had to come back into the story eventually, but when is it going to happen? She finally came back into the story. Let's see how long she stays and what she actually does. But then also, finally, an actual time span to actually pin the hat on. It's been 10 years since he saw that family. But then, also, considering what they were acting like when he first showed up, 10 years ago, they were acting like everything is imminent. It's happening right now. If you don't do something for us right now, we're doomed. And then you find out it took 7 years before anybody did anything. And yet, even though it took 7 years, she still says, we just didn't expect it to be that fast. Huh? And then, rather conveniently, they set this one character up with very specific rules about what he can and can't do because blah blah blah. And yet he conveniently, randomly, all of a sudden, ran away to the mountains 3 months before he was desperately needed.
Make a note. I swear that Nangan said that she was going to the Yellow Maple Valley for something, and this is good because then she can check on Han Li. Except, I wish I could remember what she said she was going there for, because I swear she never did. I thought that was going to be the next thing to happen, her showing up there. She never did, though. She never went there, from what I saw. So what was that? Huh?
Also, somebody needs to explain to me how it went from a mere heart disease to something that needs this much through the roof, dramatic, power, etc. to cure. Clearly, it's one of those things where there's way more to it than what they actually told me, because they literally just said it's a heart defect thing that she was born with. Okay, so I finally finished watching the drama last night, and I guess some bullet point finishing thoughts to finish this thing. First of all, what doesn't kill you make you stronger ×3 in this drama. But none of them are the good guys. If you know, you know. And also, I forgot to mention, he's like, you're a lizard, not a dog. Act like it. That was good. Those things are cool. But also, is that a lizard with armor, or did he kill the lizard to take its essence to make the puppet? Speaking of puppets, how do I say it? Because somehow I've been keeping this kind of relatively mostly spoiler-free, despite the fact that it's a walkthrough. Who? This guy. I remember his name. I wish he hadn't come back into the story, because I'm sorry, that guy disturbs me. They say he's a soulless body, which pretty much means he's dead, right? Which means he's dragging around a corpse calling it his friend. Which,
That's just disturbing, okay? Would you please go bury that thing? I don't like that. I really don't like it. It was creepy and it made my skin crawl. And, like, he isn't even good for anything anyway. There's, like, one time at the end where he does something creepy, pointless, creepy, weird, creepy. Okay, anyway. Other rundown, quick point thoughts. Unfortunately, for the last, like, this thing is 30 episodes long, and starting, I can't remember where, maybe roughly around 23. I feel like there was at least 5 or 6 episodes there where I was actually watching it on, like, 1.5 speed, because to me, personally, it did feel like it was dragging now. This is just a me thing, I know that, because the fights that they had, they're really cool, but at the same time, the longer you drag it out and all that stuff, literally, it starts feeling like just a super flashy fist fight. It's so boring. All of these really long, drawn-out fights, and then I have not liked, like, war stuff in many years, so it's just not my type of drama. I just don't like that, and that's what it turned into. That's all it was a bunch of flashy fist fighting, drawn-out battles, and the war going on and 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 on. And then all of a sudden now you decide, spoilers. Hanley, I realized one of the ways it's the best way to describe what he's like. He's literally the character in an RPG game that a very smart gamer is playing. He's literally just looting everything and, like, checking all the corners, and, like, he knows how this game is played. He just, like, you know, every single time is looting and all this stuff, and that's how he gets all his power and all his whatever. I've never felt like that watching a drama before. I literally started to feel like he's being played by some really smart gamer. And that's the only time that it did start to actually feel a little bit. There's twice where he does actually feel spotlit. One is that, like, it got to the point where they defeated that one guy in particular, and he just happened to be the one that gets to go and check that spot. Not to mention, I mean, I guess he didn't have very good artifacts. That guy over there got burned by the same thing, and his mystical pouch got completely destroyed. This guy's over here's mystical pouch didn't get destroyed by the exact same thing that destroyed that one? That's a little sus. How did he end up with the loot? Literally every time. Both of those times when he ended up with the loot, I'm like, now I'm starting to feel a little bit spotlighty on this guy. Like, nobody else took any of the loot either time. This is getting a little sus now. You're getting a little spotlit now. And then episode 27, at about the 9-minute marks, he's talking about a peaceful place for cultivators to cultivate. And I'm like, not when there's cultivators there. You will never find a peaceful place for cultivators to cultivate when there's anybody around. Because, yeah, before that, I didn't write down the timeline. Someone was like, cultivators equal backstabbers. And I'm like, yeah, they do. Basically everybody, basically all the time in all of these stories, at least half of the cultivators are always backstabbers, hypocrites, self-centered, little arrogant, whatever. I complain about it every time because that's what they mostly always are. Yeah, which leads me to the conclusion of, thanks a lot, natural order, or fate, or whatever it is that picks which one of them has a spiritual root, because these kind of people are definitely the ones that we want as gods. At the one point when he's like, you eat so much, no wonder most people can't afford to raise these things. Like, but dude, 3/4 of what he put on the ground for them to eat was still there when he picked them up and left. And yeah, that's the one and only convenient time that somebody intercepts a message of his. Convenient. One and only time. Okay, so then, oh yeah, and she's like, a bigger group will draw attention. And then she makes an absolutely gigantic ship to take them out of there on. Well, that's okay because we can hide it in mist. Well, then why didn't you take everybody on it? Because I guarantee practically everybody would have fit on that thing. It was so huge. And cover it in the mist and just taking everybody at once. Anyway, the only other thing that I can... there's 2 other things. Well, 3 if you include the spoiler. is these two girls are absolutely not in any way, shape, or form main characters. Maybe they were in the book. Maybe they will be in season 2. They are absolutely not even remotely main characters in the first season. It is absolutely absurd to call them main characters. They are not. For 2 reasons. 1, they're not on the screen enough. Just plain simple, if you're a main character, you need to be on the screen for a certain amount of time, and they aren't. I didn't add up how much they were on the screen, but they weren't on the screen enough. So they absolutely are not main characters. And then, on top of that, is why they're on screen, what they're doing, the quality of time spent on screen. There's no quality to the time they spent on screen. 90%, if not 95% of the time that they are on screen, it's entirely about the other thing that spotlit Hanley. Practically every girl in this drama having a crush on him. Practically every single one of them, that is literally all they can talk about. Oh, Hanley, I want to be with Hanley. Why is my life so hard? Why are all these obstacles in the way? Oh, Hanley, I want to... Oh, kid, go away. When that's literally all that makes your character up, that's all I ever hear from you. And when there's that many of them, for the love of my sanity, I can't stand stories where there's like, practically everybody is in love with this one character, whether it's a guy or whether it's a girl. When the girl is being followed around like 4 or 5, 6 different men that are all in love with her, or when a guy is being followed around by 5 or 6 or 7 different girls that are all in love with him. It's disgusting, it's gross, it's unnecessary, it's arrogant, okay? Like, what kind of an ego trip is the author on in order to make a character that, like, I mean... You're telling me there's not a single other decent guy that these women have ever met in their entire life, that literally all of them are instantly, entirely obsessed with this one guy. He's the only decent person on the planet. He's the only cool person on the planet. He's the only one worthy of our love on the planet. The crap? What? Oh, when like literally there were so many of them, even the ones that was only kind of mild. It's like the most mildest flirt or expression on their face, because there were so many of them that were, like, that had a crush on him, even if it was just a mild one. It's insane, okay? It's gross, okay? That was the one thing that I absolutely, number one, top thing that I absolutely did not even remotely appreciate about this drama, was how many girls were obsessed with him. And then those 2 especially. What were they even in the drama for? It's like every time, especially the girl is just immortal. Like, what is wrong with you? That once a decade, like, you are still... a single woman, still unmarried, decades upon decades. You meet this guy once a decade, basically, and you're still so obsessed with him that you can't think of anybody else, that you can't marry that poor girl. Like that poor little girl that's growing up without a father because you're so obsessed with this guy that you see once a decade. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I didn't mean to get quite that worked up. I was trying to stay calm and keep my tone proper for this one. I think that was all. I don't think there was anything else that I wanted to mention. Yeah, at episode 47, at the 5-minute mark, when he like splashes the water on them, I'm like, yes, please do that with everybody. There's only one girl in this entire drama that I did like, even though she had a thing with Hanley, because she actually is like a strong support character, or else the main character. She actually is. This girl, it wasn't 99.5% of the time. Like, she was central in so many other things about the story, the way they were moving, and what she was doing. Like, we're constantly hearing about her rescuing people, her getting injured because she's fighting back against the demonic clans and all this kind of stuff. She actually has a life. She's actually living. She's having discussions with people about things that aren't even remotely related to Hanley. She's actually doing stuff. She's actually accomplishing stuff. She's actually acting like a mature female that, like, doesn't even have to, like, her whole world doesn't center around Hanley. And the only reason it actually does in any way, shape, or form center around him is because something accidentally happened between them. And that, in particular, is what she's really having a struggle letting go of, because it was something pretty significant. And I have to ask why it was so different but with them. Like, there's so many other couples in cultivator dramas. You're constantly hearing about cultivator couples that are having children, and they're all just fine. They're not losing a bunch of power every time they sleep together. What on earth was so different with Han Li and Wangan? At Nangan? What on earth are you claiming was so different about them that when they do it, all of a sudden she lost a whole stage worth of cultivation? Is it because of the specific path that she's on? I'm confused on that point. What's so different about them? But yeah, her, episode 24, for the first 24 minutes or something of episode 24. Finally! That is what I was waiting for, and waiting for, and waiting for, was proper actual interaction scene with them. I mean, like, how many episodes apart? Like, all these times, like, I swear, it was more than once where she was, like, looking for Hanley, or where she said she was going to see him, or whatever, and it's like, and? Where's the follow-up interaction between these two? When are they actually going to talk again? When is there going to be anything with these two? Finally! In episode 24, finally! It's about time! Why did that take so long? And the thing is, like, I can't quite tell if he actually does have a crush on her back. I think he does. But at the same time, I'm not positive because he does, like, such a good job of masking his opinion or whatever of the women in that kind of area. But at the same time, I find it interesting that she seems to be the only person that he considered telling about the array. Because he said, since it's not her, I can't tell her. Which means if it was her, he would have told her? Or might have told her? Even the fact he considered it is very interesting. Because he didn't consider telling anybody else. We never heard him even consider telling his master about it. She's the only one that he apparently considered telling about the array. I find it very sad that she managed to trick him into thinking that wasn't her. So he didn't tell her, so she didn't go with him. Because I find those two, I wanted way more interaction between those two. Their interactions and the way they interacted was, oh my gosh, these two. More lawnmowers. Oh my word. You can probably hear that. That's the only reason I said anything. I wanted to finish this. I'm taking like 10 minutes longer than I meant to take. Okay, the only other thing that I wanted to mention was, yeah, right along the lines of all the women that had a crush on him. Compare that with the spoilers of the men he meets. What message are you trying to tell me, even subtly? What message are you accidentally telling me? What is going on here? Why? This is weird, okay? This is weird, and this is part of why it's creepy. What is going on in the mind of this author? Okay, I don't want to say things about real people. I don't want to motives about what the author was thinking. But at the same time, it's creepy, and it's kind of messed up. And that's my biggest objection to the drama. Apart from all that, this drama was worth it, and I do like it, even though at the end of it, it tells you that this is just the end of season 1, so clearly they're planning on making a season 2. Okay, it took you this many episodes. Okay, if there's a whole second season, season 1 really did actually drag. Season 1 was like 10 episodes too long. Anyway, I need to stop rambling. I didn't mean to make this video 20 minutes long. I thought it would be over in 10 minutes. I need to stop, and there's a stupid lawnmower going again, so that is all. That is my finishing thoughts on the Immortal Ascension. It was very different and very interesting and very... There was many little times where I was snickering and I was laughing and whatever, and Yang is a good actor, okay? It's a worth watching drama. It's interesting, and it's unique and different, and it's... yeah. I think that was everything I wanted to say. So, there you go. A walkthrough of a drama that I did not end up hating or dropping. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of it if you've seen it before. Bye!